I know that I usually recommend Twitter or Instagram accounts or TV programmes, but this week I'm going rogue.
Oh.
I'm going to recommend a book. I'm ashamed to say that I so rarely get the time these days to read a whole book, but I'm probably more than 3/4 of the way through this one, and I'm sticking with it because it's particularly good. So it's The Zoologist's Guide to the Galaxy, What Animals on Earth Reveal About Aliens by Dr. Eric Kirschenbaum. Eric's actually a member of the zoology department that we both work at, and he's a fellow of my Cambridge College at Girton. So I've known that this book was coming out for a little while now, and it's such an outside-the-box concept that I've been genuinely looking forward to it. And actually, it's even better than I thought it was going to be, or I'd hoped it was going to be. So from hearing the title, The Zoologist's Guide to the Galaxy, you might be thinking, like, what could a zoologist tell us about aliens? But Eric's decades of research have focused on the evolution of animal acoustic communications. And this is in animals as diverse as hyraxes, dolphins, wolves. And in this book, he shows that by looking at the underlying principles of biology, so things like Darwinian evolution, as well as physics, and how these have shaped animals on Earth, we can go a long way to hypothesizing what kinds of adaptations would be possible, or at least probable, on other planets.
So would aliens also use resonant frequencies?
There's a whole, I'm not going to give anything away, but there is a whole section on communication.
Ah.
Yeah. So definitely, that's a good question to ask, but I'm going to do that whole thing of, you'll have to read it to find out. It's a really fun book. So it basically uses these serious scientific principles, but then explains them in a really relatable way. After we were just chatting about Museum of Zoology doing a similar kind of thing, but I feel like that's the best kind of science. It's you're learning, but you don't feel like you're being sat down in a classroom.
Yeah.
So it includes crazy examples of how, these principles, like evolution and physical principles, how they play out on Earth. So instead of the book getting bogged down by dry theory, its tone is kind of playful and inquisitive. He discusses how what we see on Earth might tell us about aliens, about how aliens might communicate, move, interact with each other, how clever they might be. And for fans of sci-fi, he often compares these potential evolutionary aliens with what's been depicted in films and novels.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So I like this. So he'll kind of reference there's so many sci-fi movies, everything from Arrival, which was I don't know how long ago that was, 5 years ago film or whatever, to classic sci-fi. Because often in sci-fi, things are kind of humanoid, or maybe they've got super intelligence, or they're just a big cloud of gas or whatever. Yeah. And he kind of goes through, how realistic each of those kind of features might be. So it's really good. It's one for the sci-fi fans as well. But basically, amongst all this fun, he gets really into the crux of how evolution has shaped the creatures that we see around us. And I think that it'd be it's actually a really accessible way for zoology undergrads to absorb these big topics.
Yeah.
I've kind of felt like it was reminding me of things which I'd learned a long time ago.
Yeah.
But in a fun rather than a dry way.
Are you now recommending it to all of your students as well? So
now, at the moment I'm teaching third years, but I actually did recommend it today to one group. I can't remember what we were talking about, but there was something, we were talking about evolution basically. And I was like, what is a sort of slightly more palatable way to learn about this, or at least explore it, is this book, The Zoologist's Guide to the Galaxy. So I think actually it'd be a really good read for people before they come to uni to do zoology, to get a primer. It'd be really good for people doing a course on this kind of stuff, and also just people interested in it. Yeah. I feel like you don't need to be a scientist. You just need to be interested to understand it. It's that kind of level.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. So I don't want to give away too much about the book, seeing as I'm encouraging you to read it. But I just wanted to read you a bit that I thought you'd enjoy. So this is in the chapter about communications. Yeah. See, I didn't even know what you were choosing this week. Anyway, this is about communications, and it's a quote from the book. So why is there no chemical language in the sense of a true language? Why can you not write a poem in smells? And is this stunning lack of sophisticated chemical communication merely a fluke of Earth's environmental and development history? Or can we expect that every planet we visit will be similarly devoid of flatulent Shakespeares? So I'm going to stop there. So to find out whether flatulent Shakespearean aliens could exist, you'll have to read the book.
Good spoiler.
I know. I really enjoyed that section.
Yeah.
So I'm actually mainly listening to this as an audiobook when I'm doing some quite monotonous lab work, and it's a good background track.
Spluttering to yourself.
Yeah, I'm
so
just
often.
like having a little giggle to myself with flatulent Shakespearean aliens and the like.
Yeah.